Hey Aries, we are going to be doing your reading, so we're going to get right into it and see what is going on for you guys, Aries. All right, Aries. All right, so let's see. You guys have the Queen of Wands, and this is showing up for your energy for the week. So I love this, Aries. I feel like there is something that you are like ready to go, or there's a level of you guys feeling like confident about yourself, that kind of thing. You know what I'll also say? There's an energy here of you guys being like, I'm just going to do it, or I'm just going to go for it. You know, something like that. It's almost... I'm also understanding something where you have just followed like the clues that like the universe has been sending you, or you're picking up on like, I want to say like, what do I want to say here? Like, okay, I want to say like outward messages, or seeing like little, I don't know, things being presented in your environment. And I almost feel like you're in the energy of this is either past energy and you've like received confirmation of kind of like following your impulses, almost that kind of stuff. You know, you might have like received like validation from that, or been like, oh God, I'm so glad that I like followed that lead, or, you know, something like that. Okay. And then for others of you, Aries, this might be the energy that you're in this week. Okay. Being like, you know what, that's, that it's like that. What am I trying to say here? It's specific. It's like, okay. So it's almost like, okay, so hold on. Sorry. Sorry. The black cat, that's kind of what I'm focusing on here. I almost feel like it's like you're like, no, well, that's a good thing. Or you know, something that somebody else might be like, oh, I'm kind of scared by that. Or even like superstitious. You're in the energy of being like, you know what, for me, that's a great sign. And I'm going to kind of follow in that way. Or I'm going to follow my instinct, my impulses, something about that. Okay. It's like exciting. And I do understand something about like validation of some sort. So, all right. Or like a confirmation, you know? Oh, geez, sorry. Oh, the camera's going crazy. All right, so you guys have the Four of Cups, and this is showing up in the area of your feelings. So I think that there's a whole lot of like deep thought going on, okay? I also think that there's maybe something here that you're like, all right, yeah, I've seen like signs, symbols, synchronicities, or I'm like kind of like doing my own thing. Like even if they don't believe this or they wouldn't do that, I'm doing it anyway. Something about that. I feel like you are feeling like a sense of like deep thinking over this, or even feeling like, okay, well, how can I kind of like put these things together, or feeling like I have put these things together. Maybe how do and maybe that's just what you're feeling, the energy of almost like things coming together. That's an interesting interpretation of this Four of Cups. I definitely understand that, but that's really what I'm feeling here. It's like a culmination of something, or it's like you're feeling like you're feeling the results of what it feels like to maybe accept something that maybe you were on the fence about, or you know, something about that, but then you're like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I'm doing this, that kind of thing. So yeah. All right, so let's see. You guys have the Strength card, and this is showing up in your environment, so it's pretty exciting. I mean, I think that I don't even know if this is a person. I think this is just a situation that you're kind of handling like awesomely, you know, something about that. This Strength card, I really do like this for your environment. Again, I'm not exactly picking this up as a person. For some of you guys, maybe it is showing up as a particular individual, but I'm more so seeing this as just like the things that are around you, or the way that you're like literally like interacting with like what's going on around you. Okay, that kind of stuff. Maybe you're receiving some sort of like pushback in some sense by somebody or something, but it feels like you're still feeling like, you know what, well, we can kind of like make this work, or I can make this work, something about that. Okay. And I also think that there might be an energy here of you being like, I'm not going to take like the first thing. I'm seeing somebody like, I don't know, maybe they went into a store. This is just like I don't know what this is. This is what I'm seeing. But like somebody going into a store and being like, oh, I'm going to grab like a bottle of water or something. And they're like, I'm not going to grab the first one. I'm going to grab the second one. I have no idea, but that's what I'm seeing here. So I'm not really sure what's up with that, but I see that pretty clearly. So there's something here. Maybe even like really thinking about the choices that you're making, or the way that you're going throughout your day. It might just be like, you know what, I want to kind of like do things maybe in a more intuitive way, or maybe you're just in the energy of being like, I am actually like feeling really intuitive, or I'm feeling like courageous, feeling like, you know, I kind of maybe want to get attention for something, or there's an energy of like confidence. Okay, that's kind of what I'm feeling here, you know, that kind of thing. So, all right. And it could be that there's something, again, going on that you're like, I'm using all my confidence for this, or this thing does not scare me. I know I can do this, you know? This is like a really capable energy, and it's also exciting, you know? It definitely is. So, all right. Okay. All right. So you guys have the Seven of Swords, and this is showing up for your challenge here. So for some of you guys, I'm telling you, with all this, like, you know, kind of like, I want to say like ferocious energy, that kind of stuff. For some of you, the challenge certainly could be maybe you're feeling like I know, but am I kind of like faking this, or, you know, something like that. And I do understand that with the Queen of Wands, because it's like this certain energy of being like, yeah, this is who I am, or I'm doing things maybe a little bit differently or something like that. But there's still this energy of you being like, I know I can figure this out, or I am going to figure this out, or, you know, maybe this person doesn't really like this thing or whatever it is, but, you know, that's okay. I like it. So possibly you're dealing, maybe you're doing something here that maybe somebody maybe doesn't really like, and maybe the challenge is you're picking up on that energy, being like, is this person like, are they being serious, or are they being honest, or, you know, something regarding that, okay? That kind of thing here. For some of you guys, maybe there's a challenge in trying to I want to say cover something up here, okay? Covering something up in some sense. So interesting. I don't really know where that came from, but I am understanding it. So you guys have the Five of Pentacles, and this is showing up for your opportunity. There certainly could be an opportunity. So here's what I'm understanding. This could be the opportunity of like, you know what? Yeah, sometimes I feel like I don't have enough, or sometimes I feel like, you know, did I even like earn this spot, or am I like, you know, am I making this whole thing up? Am I, you know, exaggerating this, or something like that? I think your opportunity is to be like, you know what? You know, maybe some people will think that this, that, the other, but it still feels like you're doing a good amount of like, I don't know if it's soul searching. It's more just like trying to figure out how to like make something like right for you, or how to make something so that you're like, you know what, this is what I will accept this. Like this is something that like makes me like maybe inspired to do something, or I don't know, something about that. So I do feel like your opportunity has something to do with maybe offering somebody else help, that maybe somebody else is feeling like a little bit out of sorts, or feeling like they're not able to get something up and running here, that kind of thing. Maybe your opportunity is to help out in some capacity, because like maybe you're just the person who's like, you know what, I know we can figure this out. It's almost like I'm picking up your energy as just like a vibe, like you know what I'm saying? Like I almost want to say like really enthusiastic, or like kind of like maybe even pumping other people up, you know, something like that. So, all right. Yeah. So with this Five of Pentacles, it could be also that your opportunity is, again, maybe to help somebody else who's having a hard time, that kind of stuff. Or this could be the opportunity to ignore anything that is making you feel like, oh, like like you don't belong here, or you're not wanted here, or something like that. Okay. That kind of stuff. I'm getting that very much as like a mind state, you know, that kind of stuff. Like maybe this is, I don't know, a particular thing that maybe it takes like a lot of like self-confidence and self-esteem to kind of like push past something that's going on here. So, all right, let's get out some oracle cards, and then we're going to clarify what's going on for you. Oh my gosh. Okay, so obviously I didn't see these cards before I pulled them. So you have good luck, and then you have nature spirits, elves, fairies, and rock formations. Okay, excellent. All right. You might be wondering if somebody is being sarcastic with you, or if somebody is doing something at face value, okay? That might also be something that you're kind of thinking about. So, all right, let's see what is going on. Let's clarify your reading, and then we will get into this here. Someone's like, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. I don't know. That's somebody got the wrong something. I don't know. All right. I'm understanding Colorado, the state of Colorado. That might have came out in a message before. I don't even know. All right. You guys have the Strength card on your side too. So that's what I'm saying. Like I understand this as like, you know, positive. So, all right, let's see what's going on. All right. Almost called you Sagittarius. Chariot's at the bottom. So, maybe you're moving towards a Sagittarius, or moving towards something that maybe you're feeling like this is actually, I feel better this way, or something like that. So, all right, with the Queen of Wands, you guys have the Strength card. This is showing up for your energy. So yes, again, I just feel like this is extremely capable energy, that kind of stuff. Maybe, I definitely feel like this is something to do with getting attention, or having attention being put on you, that kind of stuff. And I feel like it's the way that you kind of deal with that, or the way that you like interact with that energy in some sense. I think that's kind of like what you're all about this week, I do understand something about like you pushing yourself forward on something, but I also wonder if there is somebody around you, or a situation that does require like pushing back of some sort. Okay, I do understand something like that. So, all right. Let's see. So you have the Four of Cups, then you have it with the Star card here in the air of your feelings. I'm telling you that's what I'm saying. I'm getting really positive energy off of this. So there's something here that it's almost like you being like, what? I'm going to be myself. I'm going to be, I'm going to show who I am, or I'm going to show what I'm capable of doing, or I'm going to like kind of do things like because it makes me feel like I'm following my instinct, or I'm doing like what feels like natural in some sense. It's almost like because of that energy here, you're feeling a sense of like, okay, I can put this together. I can see the vision for me, and I can see everything coming together. That kind of stuff. All right, definitely understand that. I also feel like there maybe has been an offer that's come in that's maybe made you feel kind of hopeful about something, that kind of situation. That certainly could be part of whatever is going on here. All right. I also think that there certainly could be something about just healing through something. Okay, this could be like a personal thing. Maybe healing through, maybe feeling like. Maybe not so energetic, or feeling like, maybe even self-conscious in some sense. All right. I just understand this as kind of like feeling more comfortable like in your own skin, or feeling more comfortable with the decisions or impulses that you have, and following those, and being like hopeful, or feeling like, well, there's hope for that, this is going to work, or something like that. So all right. Okay, so you guys have the Strength card, and then you have it with the Devil, and this is showing up in your environment. So for some of you guys, maybe you're dealing with a Capricorn person, possibly a Leo, okay? But if that's not the case, then I think that whatever's going on here might just be something that requires permanent strength, that kind of thing, all right? There might be a situation where it's like, hey, this thing's you've already maybe committed to something, or there, something has been like written in stone, I almost want to say. I mean, you have this, nature spirits, elves, fairies, and rock formations here. Okay, so maybe that's what it is like something's kind of like already set in stone here, that kind of thing. And it just could be, again, something like requiring strength, or requiring I even want to say temptation, to be honest. Maybe there's something around you that's kind of tempting you in some sense, all right, that kind of thing. I also understand like a voice in the back of your head, or an experience, or something that maybe is making you like remember a time when you're like, God, like, well, I'm not so comfortable being seen, or I don't know, like I'm going to almost like diminish my own light, or I'm going to like not follow my impulses, or not follow like a creative like spurt, or something like that. Okay, I'm almost getting like a sense of like fear, or I don't know, timidness, something happening in your environment here. But you feel like you're it feels like something has happened where you're just feeling more comfortable with, like, again, what it is that you want to do, or how you're presenting yourself, your self-esteem, whatever the heck it is. Okay, maybe you just as a person, and that's like literally, I feel like that's amazing. That's wonderful. So all right, let's see. So you guys have this good luck card, and this is showing up for part of your challenge. Pretty interesting. There's a ladybug on here. I've been seeing ladybugs a whole lot lately. Not a whole lot, actually. I saw 2 of them yesterday. So, but okay. So I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with something here, like ladybugs in some sense. Okay, that kind of thing. Okay. Maybe wanting to protect something in like a natural type of way, okay? Maybe wanting to protect something, or have like a layer of defense around something, but possibly wanting to do it in like a natural or an organic type of way, okay? That might be something. So, all right, you have the 7 of Swords here showing up with this challenge. So yeah, I mean, with this good luck here, for some of you guys, maybe you're feeling like, okay, I've just had I've had a stroke of luck, or, and this is just, maybe I don't feel like you're feeling that way. I feel like you might be feeling like somebody around you is like, oh, they're lucky. They just, they had like good luck and whatever the heck that is, that kind of thing, as opposed to being like, no, that's like that, that's, it was worked for, or it's like comes like natural to you, or I don't know, whatever this is, you know, there's something about that. So you have the reverse Eight of Wands, and this is showing up in the past energy. So this is the thing, maybe something kind of like came out wrong, okay, that kind of thing, or maybe something was interpreted in a way that like, I don't know, that maybe somebody didn't mean it in a particular way or something like that. What did we say before? Oh yeah, feeling like maybe somebody's being like sarcastic or something like that, and there might be like, you know, kind of trying to figure out like, well, was that being said like in sarcasm, or were you being serious, or, you know, something like that. So I kind of feel like that is possibly part of the challenge, whatever this like lack of communication is, or something not like landing correctly, that kind, like, you know, when like if you like tell a joke and it like doesn't land correctly, that kind of stuff, and you're like, all right, it was supposed to be a joke, like that kind of stuff, that maybe something like that kind of like occurred in the past, that kind of situation. All right. All right, so let's see. You have the Three of Wands, and this is showing up as what to do here. So it does feel like what to do is to kind of keep, I want to say keep going on your merry way here. It's like keep expanding in the same way that you've been, or expanding on the energy that you're like capitalizing on this week. Because again, I see like creative energy, following like your own like instincts, letting yourself shine, letting yourself get attention, not being really overly concerned if maybe somebody is like really critiquing you or that kind of stuff. Kind of just like getting almost like getting out of your own head and just being like, you know what, I'm going to follow my intuition. I'm going to follow my impulses, that kind of stuff. All right. I love that energy. That always feels like super like freeing. I feel like, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's good. For some of you guys, maybe you're feeling like that you've been like maybe down on your luck, or, you know, whatever it is. Okay. That kind of stuff. And I also do understand something about maybe something just happened like out of control, or like, you know, out of, like something spun out of control, or somebody took something the wrong way, something about that. I'm understanding something happening like that, but I understand that as like past energy, okay? So you have the Emperor, and this is showing up as what this Three of Wands is going to bring in. So those are like two Aries cards. So Aries, that's kind of like you showing up as like really being in like the driver's seat of whatever's going on here for this challenge, or at least putting like the power in your control here. So what's it going to bring? I think that's what it is. It's going to put the power right back in your hands here, that kind of stuff. And I almost feel like what also this is going to bring in is like, I don't want to say like a new identity, but I do want to say like being like, you know what, I'm okay being seen this way. I'm going to like, if this is the first impression that you're getting from me, that's what it is, or something about that. All right. There might be something about that, but I also feel like there's a sense of rethinking that, or you know, kind of just being deep in thought about something here. All right, that kind of stuff. All right, so what to avoid? You guys have the Ten of Cups here, so maybe this is to be completely honest, I think this is avoiding making somebody else's energy like your energy. I just had this conversation with one of my kids either yesterday or the day before, but like, you know what I'm saying? There's something about that, like understanding that like just because maybe not everyone is going to be super comfortable with like a decision you're making or the way that you're doing something, that's perfectly fine. If you're not hurting somebody and you're not hurting yourself, like it's okay to do something just because you're like, I like this, or this makes me feel like I'm being my authentic self. I feel like I don't have to be self-conscious in this way, whatever the heck it is. That could be, you know, what we're talking about here is just an avoidance of like trying to make everybody super comfortable with like what it is that you're doing or how you're presenting yourself, that kind of stuff. That leads to burnout when we're too worried about like how we're going to be received, you know, that kind of stuff. So I feel like this is like, you know what, be received the way that you like genuinely are, that kind of stuff, you know, that type of situation. All right, so let's see. Okay, so for your opportunity, you guys have this card, Nature Spirits. Again, elves, fairies, and rock formation. So certainly, I do think that there is something here about you just really like connecting deeply. We were saying something about, what the heck were we saying in the beginning here? You kind of like seeing like synchronicities or seeing like little things like in your environment and like kind of like following, being like, oh, that was my sign, and like understanding it. You know what it is? It's like seeing a sign and being like, I'm not gonna wait for this not to make sense, or I'm not going to find a million ways how that's not the sign, or whatever the heck it is. That's kind of what I'm feeling, is like this real deep connection with something in your environment, or I don't know, maybe rocks, okay? Rocks, crystals, whatever the heck it is, nature, something about that. I will say this Five of Pentacles for years has been giving me this energy of just simply like outside, okay? That kind of stuff. With this Nature Spirits, that could definitely be, you know, something. So, all right. So for your opportunity, you have the Five of Pentacles here, and then you have it with the Lovers card. So Yes, again, I feel like there is something here about having the opportunity maybe to help somebody else who's maybe been in your position and is maybe kind of feeling like chained to something that maybe they don't want to be, kind of like chained to in that kind of sense. Okay, something about that could certainly be something that's happening in your environment, and maybe your opportunity is to help in some sense, because it does feel like you have like the energy to do it, or like the passion, like the want, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. That's what I say this a lot, like striking when the iron's hot. That's kind of what I'm feeling like you're in the energy this week. And you know what? That's awesome. Like really definitely capitalize on that energy, okay? So you have the Lover's card. This is showing up in the previous energy here. So maybe there was a particular decision that was made in some sense, or maybe in the past there was, maybe there was either a decision, some type of decision made in the past here, that maybe now your opportunity is to possibly be like, you know what, I have found harmony, or I have found a way to kind of like pull my parts together, that kind of stuff, feeling very much like in what, like as one, harmonious in like your own body, your own energy, what it is that you're doing, how you're portraying yourself, how you're kind of like walking into a room, whatever it is. Maybe your opportunity again is to like help somebody along in that way, or to relate to somebody in some sense who maybe they're feeling a little bit like out of it, or feeling like, I don't feel like I'm like good enough for this thing, or I don't have this specific thing, or feeling like I'm not included, or I'm not wanted there. I am understanding that, all right? I am understanding something about that, okay? A level of maybe somebody else feeling self-conscious. I almost said unconscious, okay? So God forbid. All right, something about that. Also, this girl is sticking out so much to me, okay? This particular girl here, right? So interesting. All right. Maybe you guys are people who like acronyms in some sense, or that makes sense to somebody. Okay, I do understand something about that. I feel like I want to like rattle off a whole bunch of like acronyms and that kind of stuff. So I don't know, that might be something here. So all right, you have the Two of Swords, and this is showing up as the action to take. So here's what I understand. If there is something that's like, maybe somebody has a particular, a particular situation that maybe they don't want to broadcast to everybody in some sense, then maybe what the action to take here is maybe just to like kind of keep something a little subdued, or not put like extra attention on maybe somebody else, or another situation. It's almost like it feels like you're in this position of being like, yeah, I'm ready to be seen, I'm like, I'm here I go, that kind of stuff. But I also understand that at the same time, it's like you have this energy, this like increase of energy, or like passion, whatever the heck it is, but I feel like you're using that in a really good way, okay? Because the Queen of Wands and the Strength card, like the Queen of Wands sometimes can be a little wild, okay? A little bit wild. But with the Strength card there, that's really feeling like that energy of being like, yeah, but I'm harnessing it in the right way. Like I'm channeling this in the right way, that kind of stuff. Maybe even holding back on a certain emotion, when it arises, something like that, okay? That's really what I'm feeling. It's almost like you're feeling like, let me give myself time to really, really like sit and think with this, whatever the heck it is, to kind of like get the vibe of the room. Some of you guys are major empaths, beyond empaths, psychic, whatever the heck it is, mediums. There's something about that. You read energy really well. You can read a person very well, that kind of stuff, okay? I understand that. Not saying that you're going around broadcasting that to everybody, but you're still very aware, okay? It's like you can read energy like that, all right? And I love that. That's awesome. That's like, you know what that is? A friggin' survival skill, man. It really is. And we were definitely talking about like instincts and stuff before, so there's something. So, all right, with this Two of Wands, you guys have the Nine of Wands here. This might just be the whole thing, that this opportunity is like, again, bringing in like almost like an extra layer of defense, or an extra layer of like, this is the thing that you like don't mess too much with this thing, or kind of stay back from whatever this is. And again, this is either like a specific situation that maybe this is like somebody else's like business, you know what I'm saying? Or somebody else is like, I don't mean, well, maybe this is somebody else's business, but I more so mean like their personal business or something like that, that kind of situation. Maybe there's a little bit of like, hey, I don't know, like giving that some space, but at the same time, I understand like problem solving, and maybe even like creatively like problem solving. But to me, it feels like not being so pushy about it. Maybe offering help, but not insisting. Do you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. All right, so you have the Wheel of Fortune. This is showing up as what to avoid. Extremely interesting. You have this good luck card here as part of your challenge. So maybe there is something about avoiding making like major changes to something right now, or there might be an avoidance of switching something in a different direction. And I'm telling you, this message with this friggin' directionality has been coming out for weeks, man. Okay, so I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Please leave a comment so that enlighten me. All right, but there's something about that. Okay, avoid like spinning something the other direction. Maybe this is like spinning. When they like the news, they say like they spin the story or something like that. I'm almost understanding something regarding that. Okay, that kind of stuff. Like avoid changing something like too much. Also, I would say avoid leaving something totally up to chance. Okay, that kind of stuff. I don't know here, man. Maybe I don't know. There's something about maybe like going ahead and like taking a chance on something, but like maybe not expecting that is going to be like that, like putting all your eggs in that basket. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I feel like that was really hard to explain. All right, Aries. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope this reading was helpful and made sense. All that kind of stuff. If not, you could check your other placements, and I'll see you guys back for your next one. Thank you. Bye.